I got an email from my credit card company about avoiding scams. It's like a newsletter type thing. And I wanted to talk about how that's a diffusion of not diffusion, a shifting of responsibility. And it bothers me. Like, you're a payment processor. Speaking to the credit card company, you're a payment processor, and the main reason we tolerate a centralized payment processor with authority is so that they can mitigate damage. It should not be on me to protect myself from scams when you're the payment processor and you take all this power. If I'm going to be left out in the world alone and, caveat emptor, then what do I need you for? Right? But so long as we have you and you're taking this power, then you're also taking responsibility. How it should work is a robust reversal system. Very quick, very accurate, very automatically spam detecting, because they freeze people's accounts all the time, right? For political reasons. So why is dealing with scammers so hard? And especially from a SIGINT, signals intelligence perspective, they know who the scammers are. They can look at the flow of money and tell where the scammers are. So it should be an anti-spam routine internally for them to be like, no, we can't process that payment because you're a known scammer. And since everybody who uses their service has to click agree to terms of service, they can just arbitrarily say, no, I have decided that you're a scammer. I don't have to prove it. And if I want to say that there's not an appeals process, go through the appeals process. Go do your binding arbitration. Let's see if you can show up in the District Court of Texas or whatever, wherever they choose to have it. And a spammer won't show up. A scammer, con artist won't show up. So, I've always hated that. And identity theft is the same way. It's not my job to protect myself from identity theft. It's your job to protect your database. It's called OPSEC. You have an operation here. Secure it. That's not on me. And I feel like customers need to, say that more often. They'd be like, this is not my job. This is your job. This is part of why you get to collect interest. This is part of why you get fees. This is part of why you have authority and discretionary controls over my account. I tolerate that stuff in exchange for something. You're supposed to give me something, not just an access key to the fucking system. That's great for you. You get to charge rent on a network. You're supposed to provide services too. I'm definitely going to lean in the direction of closing all my shit. I'm so tired of stuff like that. Because I've had family members get completely scammed and not get any of their stuff back. And that's ridiculous because the whole thing is reversible. That's the reason Bitcoin exploded in value, because it's not reversible. And there isn't this overlord making decisions. Like, I just saw a thing about how Skype which is owned by Microsoft, is banning people for talking to Gaza. That's, we don't need overlords, because they just inevitably abuse their power, and demonstrably they don't provide any protection. So I just wanted to make a quick little rant about that, because it annoys me. It's like, it's not our job to do that. With power comes responsibility. And if you've accepted the power, you should be required to accept the responsibility. It's your network. You secure it. If I'm throwing a party, and bad shit happens, I'm going to be potentially culpable. I can be sued if it's shown that my negligence was a partial cause of this bad thing. And that's how it should be. Shared responsibility. Not diffused to the point of nothing, but shared. But yeah, in this case, there's no sharing because there's no power. If these corporations are unaccountable to anything but profit. They're not even really accountable to their board. They're not even really accountable to their shareholders, because their shareholders don't care. The minute, like the argument there is they can just sell. They can, if they don't like how things are. It's like, it's always the same, take it or leave it, my way or the highway, caveat emptor kind of logic. And that applies to shareholders too. They have money, but they don't really have power. And this is why corporations were originally like very, very narrow, time limited, and case by case given by kings and stuff, because it was like, this is powerful and dangerous. We don't need to just make these everywhere. Well, we started to, and here's where we are, and they took over everything. It's kind of like, honestly, the Dutch East India Trading Company was kind of the first AI. It was this legal entity that existed in their version of the internet, an exchange of papers and conversations. And it's a Chinese room. It's a bunch of people executing a rule set, but the rule set is a thing. And it had its own interests, and it took over. It's like the Game of Thrones speech where the dude is explaining to the other dude about how the Iron Bank, or no, it was explaining to Cersei how the Iron Bank is, it's a temple. It's a bunch of stones, and you can replace the stones and the temple will last forever. Ship of Theseus, good stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to rant about that a little bit.